For those of you guys that don't know, recently, about 6 months ago, my wife and I sold everything that we had when we were living in Ohio, and we moved out to France, close to Bordeaux, which is closer to where her side of the family lives. So once we sold everything, got moved over here, I knew it was going to be time to start my woodworking shop and let you guys kind of know which things I would recommend to have in your own workshop and which things I would have changed about this shop or maybe just done differently or not done at all. So stay tuned and let me know what you guys think of this workshop at the end of the day. Okay, so over here on the wall behind me, right up here, I have both are from Viver, and these two I think everybody should have inside of their shop. The one on the left here is for my air compressor and the extension cord for that. I think it's a 50-foot roll, so plenty to get me across this garage, outside, in front if I ever need it for anything else and those kinds of things. But I use both of these every single day in my workshop. The one on the right is just an extension cord for power, and I use that to plug in, my table saw, my jointer, everything like that I need an extension cord for. And the nice part about these is when you're not using them, they're up and out of the way. And that just makes it super, super convenient, especially inside of a small workshop. Saves a ton of space for me to not house these in the cabinets or anything like that. So these two I would highly recommend. They were very, very cost efficient, and so far so great with them. So far so great. So far so good with these products. 10 out of 10. Recommend both of the Vivors for those purposes. The way I have this set up over here is the extension cord for the air compressor. The cord just runs down, comes down to the tabletop, and goes directly through the top of it, and then feeds down here to where the compressor is actually housed. It's also the Vivor, I think it's the 30 liter. Not too sure on that, but I think it's the 30 liter air compressor. I've got it housed in this cabinet down here, and on this side over here, I went ahead and cut out a hole for the ventilation on this system. So as you can see right now, I don't have the doors installed yet. I just need to finish painting those. Then I can get these doors installed. And then on the back of the door, I can put a couple of mounting places for my nail guns and different things like that. So right now I just have everything kind of shoved inside of here, but I really enjoyed the setup where the hose just runs through the countertop and goes up top. It's been used every single day in my shop. So I highly recommend those extension cords. The compressor itself is a good compressor. I've had no issues with it. It holds very, very well. Sometimes I'll leave it on for durations on accident, and I won't hear it kick on until the next day, meaning that the air loss in the system is not bad at all. It's really, really good. So I would recommend it, but for a compressor, if you want something smaller, I totally get it. It's not really necessary to have the 30 if you're not using it every day and stuff like that. So, but for me, this system works very, very well, and I love this part about my shop. Now, on the next cabinet over, I have my chip extraction system. So this is the Chipach chip extraction system that I just found here at a local hardware store. And I needed one of these in order to run my jointer and planer. So that system requires that you have a chip extraction system along with it. So I decided to house mine inside of here, and that way it's out of the way. When I get the door on, what I'm going to do is cut this hose to where it fits onto the door, and I'll have a mounting portion on the outside of the door to where I can just take the tube and mount it to the outside of the door and connect it into my planer and jointer. But the first thing I need to do for that is build a workbench that I can roll around that's going to house my 2-in-1 planer, jointer, and the table saw. So that way both of those tools are going to be inside of the workbench, and when I roll it into position, I can just take that hose from the workbench and plug it right into the door, and I'll have a super clean system that's easy to run. On my third cabinet over here, this is where my miter saw station is. So on top, I've got the miter saw. In the phase of changing out the blade right now, but Anyways, the top side, I have my miter saw. And then on the bottom, I have the, I think it's Karcher is how they say it. Karcher, my shop vac. So my shop vac is currently what I'm using for the dust extraction on the miter saw. So I just have it to where the hose comes out of the shop vac, runs up top and goes out the countertop and plugs into the miter saw. And that makes it super nice for keeping that hose out of the way, along with being able to just pull that hose out from the countertop and use it to clean off the countertops or surfaces or anything that I need to. Or when I'm using my sander, a lot of the times I just unplug it from the miter saw and plug it into my sander, and then I've got plenty of hose to reach those places that I need to. So I'm glad I put the shop vac underneath here. Same thing, I just need to get the doors mounted here and we'll be good to go. I can do some more storage ideas at that point. So this is my miter saw station, and I love this part about the shop. I went ahead and recessed this down, which is a very common thing that you see with the miter saw stations, because you need your material to be able to slide over both sides without interference of the countertops. So you would just recess this down, or you would put it on top, but then you wouldn't have support on both the left and the right hand side. So I decided to bring this counter down a little bit to where I have the support on both sides. Like I said, it's very common in the miter saw station. But what's not so common is another feature that I have over here on this side. And I think that every shop should have this inside of their workbench, because it makes running this miter saw super, super convenient and just really simple and clean at the end of the day. So this has got to be my favorite feature of the entire workshop, which I know sounds crazy to say, but trust me, this guy is just a block for a power station, pretty much is what I guess we would call it. But the cool feature about this one is it has the on-off switches for 3 different ports here. So on this left-hand side is actually what my shop vac, so the dust collection system, is plugged into. So when I click it on, then we have our dust collection running. The middle one I have set up to be the miter saw. So if I ever just want to turn off the miter saw completely, I can just turn this guy off and the miter saw won't get any power to it. And on the right, third one, I have that chip extraction system, so that whenever it comes time to run the jointer and planer, I can come over here and just tap that on. And there we go. We're running the chip extraction system at that point. So having these 3 guys here makes running all of these systems super, super efficient, which at the end of the day saves you time. And along with that, it's got a couple of USB ports up top and the micro USBs, which makes charging super, super convenient for anything like my camera and things like that. So this feature, I think every single workshop should have, because it's just that good. Here on top of the miter saw station, I went ahead and made this little drill holder and just mounted it to the bottom of my cabinets. So that's been super convenient as well. I did this in my enclosed trailer before, and I really, really loved it. It makes it super, super fast to grab drills, or for instance, the jigsaw or multi-tool and those kinds of things. So having just access to your tools is really, really nice. Especially when this is the main work area that I'm working in. They're always right there in front of me, and it's super easy. In the middle one, I kind of just keep my speaker, tape measure, safety glasses, pencils, random kind of little things in the center. And yeah, that's it for that. The cabinets, I have just all kinds of random stuff in right now. We're still working on organizing. It's always an ongoing process inside of a workshop. But for now, I'm super thrilled with everything. So over on this side of the workshop, we have the water heater that I decided to enclose in this area, which just kind of keeps everything out of the way and gave us another opportunity to create more storage inside of this small workshop. So the thing that I would have done differently though here is I probably, instead of doing these straight slats in this area, I probably would have gone with something like the French cleat wall that I have in between my cabinets over here, just so that it would have gave me more storage opportunity. I really like the look of these straightforward ones, but I do think that in a small area, it's less about the design on this portion and more about having more space to store things and keep them out of the way for you. So I think I would have done this as the French cleat system instead, because now at this point I need to figure out another way to mount things to this wall. So one of the ideas I came up with is still incorporating that French cleat system by taking a small block, cutting the 45-degree angle in the back as you would with the French cleat, and mounting it in between these guys just in random locations wherever I want to hang something, and screwing it into the wall. That way at least I have a French cleat hook in these certain areas. And I think that's going to work for me, but looking back at it, I think I should have done something a little different here on the outside just to give me some more storage solutions. So, but for the rest of it, it's actually really, really good for storage. I'll show you up here on the top what's going on. So up here on the top above me, we've got a complete opening right here. So this guy is completely open and goes all the way back to the wall. So there's a lot of space in there for me to kind of just put some of our household items and things like that. And then on top, as you can see, I cut down the old firewood mantle that's going to actually be turned into a dining table here soon. And I have them up there stacked nice and neatly, ends all sealed and just drying out a little bit more since it's got a mixed moisture content inside of it right now. So it's not quite ready, but at least I was able to put them up there, store them out of the way, and keep them nice and straight. So I definitely like that I left some extra room up there instead of going all the way up to the ceiling. So glad I did that. But anyways, down here. So down here on this side, I went ahead and routed in a little finger hold on this guy, and it's actually a doorway. So as you can see right now, it's kind of just full of all kinds of miscellaneous things and some of my hunting equipment and things like that. But there is a lot of storage on the inside here. On the inside, from this side over to the end over here, I have 3 different shelving units, and those shelving units just give us a lot of extra space to store things. And once again, in a small shop, it's very important to have a lot of storage to kind of keep things organized and out of the way. And it just helps with improving your efficiency overall. So this closet is really nice. I'm hoping to do more kind of wooden pieces here on the sides for storage of all of my clamps and things like that I just want to keep out of the way, but still can access them in no time at all. So really cool door, and I love the look of it at the end of the day. There's just some certain things that I would have changed about it. So back here in this corner of the shop is kind of where I keep all of my scrap wood or large lumber and things like that. And this is another section that I think I should have done a little differently to start. That way it would have got me into the groove of really storing things properly and nicely. So if I were to do this differently right now, I would remove this shelving unit that's in the back here, take all of those scrap off of there, and build an actual container or shelving unit or something of that nature to kind of hold all of my wood and keep it in a more condensed area. Right now, it feels like there's a lot of wasted space back here because I'm throwing other stuff on top at this point, and the shelf itself is not that strong. So I don't want to actually load the top shelves with wood because it's going to break if I do that. So I currently only have the bottom 2 shelves over here with some lumber on them, and the rest kind of have miscellaneous items that really could find a new home. Once I get my workbench built, that's going to be a roll around workbench. It's going to house the table saw and the jointer inside of that workbench and make that super, super easy to just use those tools. And I also want to incorporate some other storage inside of that workbench so that I can get these tools out of this cabinet and put into that workbench, and then we'll probably find a new home for this guy at that point. Another cool feature that I really like about this shop is that in the middle over here, instead of just doing normal cabinets, I kind of opened up this area for me so that I can have some more areas what it feels like to work in. And I decided to go with a French cleat system. So I wrapped it around onto both the sides of the cabinets and then the back wall as well. And I plan on building a bunch of these kind of little cleat holders for a bunch of different tools to kind of keep my chisels up there, maybe sanders, maybe a couple different tools and things like that, and just keep them up out of the way and accessible. That's what we want in these small shops. We really just want to make things super efficient and give things a place to stay as well. That way you're not cluttering up your work table and things like that, and it just keeps you moving quicker inside of the workshop. So this French cleat wall, 2 thumbs up from me. I would recommend it. All right, well guys, that is pretty much the tour of what I've got going on in this shop so far. Let me know if there's anything that you really want to see more of or hear more of about my shop and things like that. A lot of cool features that I think most workshops should have if they don't already have them. But a couple of things that I would definitely change about this place all seem to be rotating around storage solutions. So this back wall, I know that now if I were to do it again, I would change it over to make it a little easier for me to store future items and things like that. But for the most part, I can't complain about anything in this shop, and there's nothing that we can't fix inside of this shop. So I think it's a great, beautiful workshop, and I can't wait to get to creating more things and showing you guys everything along the way. So thanks for watching, and I hope to hear from you guys and see you soon. Peace.